So I'm sure you've heard of Robben Island, South Africa's island, close to Cape Town. But did you know that South Africa actually has two other islands and they are gorgeous, they are pristine, and they are paradise, a true wilderness. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel where we look at random things that you probably didn't know that you might want to know, and I'll try find the answers for you. Today we are talking about the Prince Edward Islands. So what are the Prince Edward Islands? The Prince Edward Islands are two small, uninhabited, mostly, islands in the Indian Ocean. They are actually part of South Africa, and the two islands are named Marion and Prince Edward Islands. The islands are actually 2,100 kilometers away from Cape Town. Pretty far. Seems weird that it's part of South Africa. I'll give you the story. The islands are special nature reserves, and you can only get there if you are a conservationist or a researcher. There is one boat that goes there per year. That is the SAS Agulhas II, an icebreaking ship that's part of the South African government. That boat goes there, ship goes there once a year to collect a group of people and drop off another group of people. There's no other access. Research teams go to the island for a year at a time, which means no, you can't actually get McDonald's if you wanted. You can't return to Cape Town for Aunt Flo's birthday if you wanted to. You're stuck there for a year. They don't even have fruit and veggies. Fresh fruit and veggies, that is. But if you can get through all that, once you're there, it's an amazing, pristine paradise. Well, mostly. It's mountainous. It's green. There's full of amazing wildlife. There's plants and there's birds. And that's why I'm interested in the island, because I like birds. I'm a birder. And Marion Islands, Prince Edward Island, are a shelter for seabirds, such as albatrosses. Have you seen those things? They're amazing. Their wingspan is massive, more than 3 meters, which is like taller than me by a long shot. I can't even imagine it. Can't wait to see it myself. I've never seen it. These islands are a paradise, except for the weather, which is bitterly cold and moody for a lot of the year. Oh, and there's mice. More on that just now. There's one base on the island and a few research huts. Other than that, it's completely untouched and uninhabited. Let me give you the history real quick. The islands were discovered on the 4th of March, 1663, long time ago, by Barend Lam, nice name, of the Dutch East India Company in a ship called the Marion. Hopefully I said that right. Interesting name. They found the islands, but when they were there, they managed to record the wrong coordinates, so they never actually managed to find them again. So, sad. They found it, couldn't find it again. How sad. Almost 100 years later, in January 1772, a French frigate, Le Mascaron, captained by Marc Dufresne, visited the islands, and he spent a total of 5 days trying to land on the island. They thought they had found Antarctica, which at that stage was still a myth, nobody had found it yet. After failing to land, the Mascaron continued east. That's the ship, continued east and eventually landed in New Zealand, where it's kind of tragic. A bunch of the crew, including Dufresne, were killed by a group of Maori natives. Sheesh, very hectic. Julian Crozet, or Crozet, I don't know, I think it's Crozet, who was a navigator and second in command of the La Mascaron, the French frigate that got to New Zealand, and then the Maori people attacked them. He actually survived that disaster, and he happened to meet James Cook, who is a British explorer, was a British explorer, managed to meet him in Cape Town in 1776. Crozet shared the charts of his expedition aboard the La Mascaron, including finding the two islands, Prince Edward and Marion, and then Cook, the explorer, sailed all the way from Cape Town until he found the islands. He passed the islands on the 13th of December, but again was unable to attempt a landing due to bad weather. So Cook then, because he was there, named the islands after Prince Edward, the 4th son of King George III. Now, the first official landing on the island was in 1799 by a group of French seal hunters of the ship called the Sally. Another landing then took place in late 1803 by a group of seal hunters, which was led by an American captain, Henry Fanning, of the ship called the Catherine. When they were there, they actually found signs of earlier human occupation. So obviously it's not exactly certain when the first landing was, etc. But this is just what's on record. The first actual scientific expedition to the islands were led by British polar explorer James Clark Ross, who visited the island in 1840 during his exploration of the Antarctic. But he wasn't actually able to land. So it seems like a lot of people have struggled to land on this island. He managed to make observations of a vast number of penguins. He said there were literally groups of many thousands each, as well as other kinds of seabirds. He also saw fur seals. The islands were finally surveyed properly by a group from the Challenger expedition, which was led by Captain George Nares in 1873. So they managed to get to the islands and survey the landscape, the fauna and flora properly during that time in 1873. So the sealing era, which was people coming and hunting for seals, lasted from 1799 to 1913. During that period, there were visits by over 103 vessels, 7 of which ended in shipwreck. So it's quite a hectic place. The occasional modern sealing vessel visited the islands from Cape Town all the way up until the 1920s. So that's the sealing era. Let's talk about the official status of the island. In 1908, the British government assumed ownership of the islands. They were just like, hey, these are our islands, dope. In late 1947 and early 1948 respectively, for the 2 islands, South Africa, with Britain's agreement, annexed the islands. They did this by a South African Navy from HMSAS Transvaal under the command of John Fairbairn. On the 1st of October 1948, the annexation was made official. In terms of the law, the islands fall under the jurisdiction of the Cape Town Magistrates Court, and any laws that are on South African mainland also are true on the island of Marion and Prince Edward's. So once the islands were claimed by South Africa, they then decided, okay, cool, we've got these islands, let's build a research station. The research station was then enlarged, and today it studies meteorology and biology, and in particular studies bird life, such as the penguins, petrels, albatrosses and gulls, as well as seals. From 2001 to 2011, a new research base was built, and that replaces the older buildings because they were quite old, and it's a much nicer research space. This research base even has a helipad and a storage hangar, so it's pretty cool. Even has a games room with pool, table tennis, so if you're stranded there, it's not like doom and gloom. There are some interesting activities you can do while you're on the island researching for a year. Now I just want to take a look at why we should really care about the island, because cool, island 2,000 kilometers away. The reason why you should care is because the marine biodiversity of the Prince Edward Islands is of global importance. The islands are home to some amazing marine wildlife, including albatrosses, penguins, killer whales, and even the Patagonian toothfish. Marion Island enables people, researchers, to study ecological processes and also monitors ecological change over time. It also has a meteorological observation station and a biological research station. The Prince Edward Islands are estimated to support approximately 2.5 million breeding pairs of seabirds and up to 8 million pairs of seabirds in total. So that's a lot of seabirds. 29 species of birds are found to breed on those islands, 28 of which are seabirds. So it's amazing, supports a large amount of seabirds that come to these 2 islands to do their breeding, which is amazing. Now, the island sounds very important, but where's the issue? What's the problem here? The issue is that when the sealers came to the island, or even just the explorers, they brought mice. And I know it's just like mice, house mice, little mice that go around, shouldn't really be a problem, but it really is a problem. Because these seabirds have been on this island for so long, they don't interact with other creatures and stuff. They just didn't know what to do when these mice came. The mice come, they eat the eggs of the seabirds that are breeding, and they attack the birds. They even just come and eat the birds. I've seen photos and it's very, very disturbing. To counteract this problem, they decided, cool, mice, let's bring cats. So they brought cats to the island. The cats got feral and multiplied, and then there was a cat problem. So eventually they managed to eradicate the cats, but now since they've done that, the mice population has grown exponentially. There are plans by an amazing company or non-profit organization called BirdLife South Africa to eradicate these mice. This is called the Mouse-Free Marion Project. The project involves dropping bait from helicopters, crazy right, across the entire island. This is a real difficult task because the island is 30,000 hectares big. It's very rocky, the weather is very unpredictable. They have a small window to do this, and it's going to be tough. There's even lava there, so crazy. It's a volcanic island. The eradication is scheduled to take place in 2025. So this is the problem, and this is the solution that BirdLife is presenting to us. And I think it would be really cool if as many people as possible could help make this happen. Because BirdLife is non-profit, they have to get that funding by people like you and me. So if you want to see these two amazing islands just be returned to their pristine status without these mice that are disturbing the status quo and the birds, it would be great if you could consider donating any amount to the Mouse-Free Marion project. I'll put their website over here for you to go to. Thank you so much for watching my channel and watching this video. If you found it interesting, please subscribe because there's going to be more videos like that. Otherwise, give it a thumbs up, comment what you thought, comment any future video ideas, and I will get to those. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye! Bye.